Dun, 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 dun.
Hey everyone, it's Paige. Welcome back to my channel. So 8 months ago, I did my first ever bookshelf tour, and during that tour, I showed you my classic bookcase, and I kind of skimmed over it, and a lot of you were like, you can't just like skim over something like that, and I totally agree. I was actually reminded that I need to do this by a subscriber, Mia, and thank you for calling me out, Mia, because otherwise I would have went another year without doing this video. So what I'm going to do today is tell you about the classic books that I have and the collection that they're in, and when my mom started collecting them. I'm going to give you just like some background and like if you want to get into it, like what you would have to do and a little bit of that, and then I'm actually going to show you some of the books, and I've actually picked out all the books of the collection that I've already read, and we're going to show you some illustrations. You know, it's going to be a good time. So first of all, as Troy does a little scan of the bookcase, I'm going to give you some facts about Easton Press, which is what this collection is from. So Easton Press is a publishing company. I believe they're based in the US, and they started this collection of the greatest books ever written. There's supposed to be 100, but actually the list contains like over 120. They started this collection in the 70s. They started publishing these books then, but my mom started collecting them in the 80s, and the way it worked was you paid a subscription fee, I don't know, like monthly or something, and they would send you one book in the collection every so often. The way it works now is I think you pay $20 on your first subscription fee, and then after that it's like a $50 fee or more. So every book in this collection is fully and tightly bound in genuine leather. They all have 22 karat gold accents, deeply inlaid on the hub spine. They're all printed with acid neutral paper. They have sewn pages, so they're not glued like ordinary books, and they all have like, satin ribbon page markers, which is pretty typical. So we currently own 93 of the books in the collection, and like I said, they're actually not 100 books in the collection, even though it says 100 greatest books. So there's like over 100. I think that there's more than 120. I'm going to take you through a few of the books that I have read and show you some of the illustrations and like basically how all of them are set up, because they all have like a general layout. Like for example, every book I think has a like illustration of the author inside like the front cover. A few of these books are like collections of short stories or collections of plays. Doesn't necessarily mean that I've read every single play or short story in there, but I felt like I had read enough of those that it justified adding or including them in my list of read books from this collection. Fun fact, I guess, I was a philosophy minor in college, so I read a lot of Aristotle. So basically any Aristotle or Plato in this bookshelf I have pulled out. And I also in college took a classic Greek poetry and theater class, so I read the Oresteia in that class. I read Aristophanes. I read actually the frogs. I haven't gotten the chance to read the birds yet. Aesop's Fables, I just grew up reading these, like, I remember them vividly, so I read them, I guess. And Pride and Prejudice is actually one of my favorite books. I know that's, like, maybe basic to say, but, like, it just is, Little Women is one of my favorite books, so of course that's, pulled out here. I have read Confucius. I actually read Confucius in my Introduction to Philosophy class. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I actually vividly remember reading, like, literally this specific edition of it as a kid, which probably wasn't a good idea. I probably could have, like, gotten Cheetos on it or something, but I didn't, so it's fine. I read the Canterbury Tales. I think I read this probably, like, I don't know, high school or middle school or something. Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, actually, so I have read a few of the, I guess you would call them short stories in my life. I've read them, over time, but I recently decided that I wanted to actually read the entirety of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, so I am, I think, a couple chapters off from finishing the entire book, so that's just a fun fact. Oh, and also, I guess I will show you in this book an illustration. So each one of them comes with this so that you have the chance to, like, you know, write your name on there and, I don't know, just like customize it a little bit. Each one of these has this in it. And this one, you know, they all say like what's in there. So we have Study in Scarlet, The Sign of the Four, and we have a portrait of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And like I said, I think all of these books, I haven't seen one that doesn't have an illustration of the author. I think all of them have it, and they're all generally in the same classic style. They all have like the Easton Press symbol, emblem, and of course they all are marked with the collector's edition of the greatest books ever written. Yeah. And I'll show you a couple of illustrations in here. My finger made a weird noise. So that's an example of an illustration. Here's another one. I don't know, you know, how they decide what illustrations to include, but it looks like this is literally like from 1887. So I figured I'd highlight that one since I'm literally currently reading it. But so the Divine Comedy, I think I read a little bit of this in high school and a little bit in college. I guess I'll pull this one out too since this is really popular. I should also pull out Pride and Prejudice, but we'll get to that. Dante Alighieri.
He looks distraught.
It does look distraught. Let's see. And some interesting illustrations. Just so to mention, which this probably won't be a surprise to any of you, but these are kind of heavy. Like, for casual reading, probably not like the best unless you have like a stand where you can kind of like, you know, that'd be really cool. I don't have that, but okay, so Euripides, again, I've read him in that classical Greek and poetry class, which is where I've done most of my Greek reading, apart from Plato and Aristotle. Down here we have Grimm's Fairy Tales, and this is another really popular one, so I'll pull it out. Like I said, they have like the gold inlaid on every book. Once again, you see this little thingy. And you have your illustration there. This one has like a kind of a fancier, I guess you would call it, border on the title page. This one, instead of having like big illustrations, looks like it mostly has like accent illustrations, I guess you would call them. Iliad and the Odyssey. I think I read the Iliad in high school, but I didn't read the Odyssey. No, was it the opposite?
I read both in high school. So
I didn't read both in high school. I only read one. We have the Tales of Guy de Maupassant. The Republic by Plato. Like I said, literally anything by Plato in this shelf I have pulled out because it's fair. Oh, Poe. Yes. I have so many iterations of Poe, but like, how can you resist, right? Let's see, in this one, let's see, there's little Poe. It's a Poe boy.
Aw.
Yeah, he's cute. The Telltale Heart. Okay. Do we have any illustrations from the Telltale? Ooh, here we go.
Gosh, what is happening there?
My students are working their way, or they just finished working their way through a Edgar Allan Poe unit. So they read Annabelle Lee, The Raven, The Telltale Heart. I think that was it, but they really enjoyed him, and I mean, how could you not? Now we have Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
So I, when I was a kid, I was in theater, like, for a long time, and I, like, specifically did, like, Shakespeare plays. I think I even, like, entered a Shakespeare competition. Troy's like, yeah, it happened. I entered a Shakespeare competition. I think I read from, Two Gentlemen of Verona. I did, like a little skit with another, like, kid.
Were you the guy?
No, we were the two women.
Oh,
anyway.
You weren't the...
No, we were two.
The homeboy?
We were two.
I forget his name.
I don't know.
Something with an L or a T?
Lysander?
No, the guy.
Anyway. Anyway, so I read like an inordinate amount of Shakespeare as a kid, and I like Shakespeare. I think he's funny, and weirdly, I mean, guess not that weirdly, I was an English major, but I read a lot of Shakespeare in college too, and so did Troy. In our senior years, we decided we wanted to take a class called Shakespeare in London, which culminated into a trip to London, where we went to the Globe and stuff. In that class, both of us had to read, like, all of the Henry plays leading into Richard III. You were in the same class.
Don't know. Mad sus. You're sussing me out on the channel. I read the books.
That we read a lot of histories in that class.
Yes, I did.
And I already had some experience with it.
I read them.
Let's pull up the histories. We'll get a little.
Yeah, maybe you could find his name. It's like with a T. It's with a T. It's got to be a T.
What are you talking about?
The
This
guy.
is the histories.
Yes.
I don't think the two gentlemen of Verona are in.
No,
histories.
it's the guy.
What are you talking about?
Come on, man. You gotta know who I'm talking about.
I have
He's
no
he's
idea.
the coolest. He's the character. He's Shakespeare's homeboy. Like, he puts him in everything. Oh my gosh. I'm losing my mind. Scan through. Just scan through. You'll find his name.
I'm just gonna find his name.
Yeah. He's a soldier. He's kind of sarcastic and funny. He's a little bit of a dirtbag.
Falstaff?
There we go.
You said T.
I don't know.
Troy.
Staff.
T? No.
Staff. You could have helped me.
Freaking.
You could have helped me. How did you not even?
You said T.
I said he's the guy.
I was like,
I said he's the guy. No, I said he's the guy. You should have known.
The guy.
You should have known.
Okay, whatever.
You should have known. He's Shakespeare's guy.
Down here, we have Oedipus the King. And this is actually has. Oh, yikes. Ouch.
Dropping books like always.
sorry. I'm
Except we're not at Ollie's.
And this actually has a little laurel on the cover. Some of them have like these kind of designs. Some of them have like titles that are like, you know, inlaid. Sophocles. Yeah. I also have Huckleberry Finn. I read this very recently, and this is an example of a book that has the cover like literally inlaid. Yeah. Yeah.
Well then.
I wonder if they'll be able to hear like the creaking of the spines.
That'd be cool.
It's kind of cool.
I wonder if they'll hear the creaking in my knees.
Okay. You know what? Just so that nobody is like, what the heck, Paige, I'm just gonna pull out Pride and Prejudice.
Oh wow, that's a very nice.
I see Mr. Collins on this page. And Lady Catherine. And I will also pull out Little Women because I know. Alright. Kind of a more basic cover here.
None of these look basic.
I know. Well, I'm saying, you know. And this little... Oh, I love that. It's like when they dressed up. Do you remember that? They dressed up as kids and did plays? Yep. Very nice. Very, very nice. Alright. So like I said, I have 93 of these books. And my mom and I want to keep collecting them because I don't know, like they have sentimental meaning to me and they're also stunning, you know? Like I remember growing up and they've just always been around, so it would be nice to actually complete the collection. But I was asked, you know, what books in the collection am I like most keen to add. I would like to add a few more of like Shakespeare's plays to my collection. I don't have the tragedies, and I also don't have like the very specific popular ones like Romeo and Juliet or Hamlet. I would also like to add The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I would like to add Beowulf. I actually have the Barnes & Noble collection, like edition of Dracula, and I really do love it, but I, you know, kind of want the like Easton Press Dracula. So I would love to have that as well. Also Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I've never gotten to read it, and I would love to read the Eastern Press collection version of it. I have read The Sound and the Fury by Faulkner, and I don't have that in this collection, so it seems like I want to represent it since I have read it. So, you know, there's a lot of books that I would love to add to this collection. So, yeah, I just need some money.
Hey, our anniversary's coming up.
You did say you'd get me 10 books. It can be a little bit confusing starting to collect these books, and the only thing that I've noticed is that I think some of the books in the collection are harder to come by than others, so you'll find if you look up like specific books that maybe some are more expensive, and I don't really know why. I don't know if they're like out of print and the only way to get them is if you buy them like on eBay and stuff, or if just I really don't know. But anyway, that was the video. I just wanted so desperately to finally show you guys like the extent of the classic bookcase. With that being said, I don't know if you guys wanted more, but you know, if you do and maybe you want me to like highlight a couple books from the collection every like wrap-up video or every month or something, then let me know below. I wouldn't mind, you know, like pulling out a couple every month and showing you them, but I only do that if you guys like want it. So
let us know if you want a special episode of Troy's not very large but kind of extensive manga collection.
That too, if you actually
yeah, legit, I will legit tell you about good manga.
Night and day there, but if you no, but if you would like to also see Troy's manga collection, then you know, also let us know that. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you are having a great week. Do you collect any books? Do you collect any Easton Press books specifically? Is that why you're looking at this video at all? I'd be curious, so also let me know that below. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads. And I will be seeing you very, very soon. Bye!